Good afternoon, everyone. It's another Tuesday here, so guess what? By now you well know it's Take Home Tuesday time. Now, here in central Iowa, it is still a very chilly day, but we have a nice, fun little project to do inside to help you get ready for Valentine's Day, or really any occasion. You could use this idea for many things. We've talked about lots of different things creatively in the last few weeks, and actually in all our episodes. It's about things all creative. We've done cooking, we've done sewing, we've done tearing fabric. What else have we done? I think we've done Play-Doh, we've done drinks, we've done all sorts of things. Always just little fun things that maybe you can pull out some past videos you want to go watch to give yourself something to do with, whether your kids or grandkids or yourself, or even I was just thinking last night to myself, I think a craft day with friends, our age of friends, could be very good. It doesn't just have to be for children. It can be for you too. So today we're going to start a project, and we're kind of getting ready, and we're starting to think about some Valentine's Day. It's almost February at this point in time. So some things that you are going to need, but please think beyond a heart shape, because what we're doing could be used for anything. You could use any shape you want to cut out, okay? So most of us have some scrap fabrics laying around, correct? If not, maybe you want an excuse to go to the store and buy something that you like. So I'm taking some scrap fabrics today. I just happened to pick pinks and reds. If I was doing it for a different season or for graduation, I could pick the colors according to what I wanted it to be. It could even be, well, you know, by now we're Cyclone fans around here, so it could be red and gold, it could be red and green. The possibilities are limitless. So what you need is just your scrap of fabric. Now you have a couple possibilities. I'm going to layer this, and I'm going to show you one that we have done here. So there's fabric on both sides, but it has a little cushiony layer in the middle. So you could use regular batting scraps. Here's one that we have here at the Hen and Chicks Studio that we've cut off of something. Or you could use a fusible fleece. So what that means is one side of it happens to be this side that I'm spacing out, is fusible, and this side is just your regular fleece. We like to use this in some table runners and some other projects, but you could choose to use either one of these in your project, and I'll show you either way of it. In addition to that, then you do need a fusible. See, can you hear it? It's paper on one side, and the fusing is on the other. Now, what's neat about this, if you've never used this product, a great way to applicate kind of cheating wise, okay? So you fuse this to your fabric, and I'm going to show you, then this paper peels off, and the other side of the fusible is exposed, so you can fuse two products together with one little piece of fabric or fusible. Okay, so let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one strip of fabric and the fusible side of my fusible fleece on this case. Now I'm using a wool mat here, so we're not we don't want to iron on our nice cutting mat. I'm going to flip it over because I don't want to fuse with that to the batting right here. I'll melt it. You could use a pressing cloth, but for me, I'm just going to do this because I've trimmed it to match my fabric. Now for me, you can make two different sides of this. You could have fabrics on either side, be different. I'm using the same fabric on both sides just because it's the strips of fabric that we have. Okay, so now you can see that is fused to that piece of fabric. As I mentioned, I'm using one long one because I'm just going to fold that back over the top. But should you have and want to use a different, you could come back and use a different fabric. That fleece is fused on. Now I need to come back and fuse my paper fusing on, and I have one cut to size somewhere in my pile here. I don't know where I put it. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to lay that fusible side down to the fleece. This is the order I do it in. You could lay it on the other side and fuse it, but I like it this way so then I can pull it nice and snug over the top. Okay, so I've fused my fabric and the fusible batting. Now I'm going to add my fusible paper or gosh, why am I not thinking of it? Wonder Under is one brand, or one name
Soft
of it.
Fuse.
Soft Fuse is what we have here. And same thing, I'm gonna press so that now I'm fusing that paper side, the fusible, to my batting that didn't have the fusible. Does that make sense? So we're sandwiching this in to get it all fused together. And sometimes you just gotta let it kind of melt on there a little bit because it is a fusing, okay? So while that's cooling down just a little bit, same thing could be said with if you were using this kind of a batting or your regular batting, except for excuse me, I would want to fuse my paper to that batting. Let's just trim some off here so we can do that. And I would probably make sure I had the same size. So I'd do a little trimming here. And this is just regular batting that we've used on a project here at the store. Left over from some quilt or store sample. So same thing here. Since this doesn't have a fusing already on it, I need to create a fusing on both sides. So I would layer it, press, and I can go right on that paper because that paper is not going to melt, and then flip it over to the other side and the same thing because I need to put fusible on both sides of the paper. Now, if you are working with a fusible, whether it's on fabric or a piece of paper fusible, I would recommend that you make sure that you have a surface that you don't want it sticking to. So there's some silicone out there or a pressing pad underneath it, or just making sure, as I did, that it's the same size so I'm not fusing it to my wool mat, okay, or your pressing surface. So this one now has paper on both sides. I'll go back to this one where I have the cloth with the fusible batting and the soft fuse. So then if I come in here, and the trick is getting it started, now I'm going to peel off that paper, and I don't know if you can catch the sheen on that fusible as I'm doing it, so that you can tell that that glue, so to speak, is sticking there. And my paper is bye-bye, okay? So then I'm going to bring this back up over the top and then fuse it together. And trust me, it goes much faster when you're not talking. You could be singing a song though, right? Okay, so now you can see I've got the layers all together sandwiched. Here's where the fun begins. Now, if you want to be particular about it, you could take a tracing. A cookie cutter is great. I was looking at some of my cookie cutters last night, all the different shapes. You could do a pumpkin, a star, a Christmas tree. I had cookie cutters I didn't even know I had. An old car, I had a dog bone. Oh, that'd be really cute with the dog bone. Oh, the dog fabric, make a little thing. Okay, but for me, because I'm just out there crazy enough to do that, and the same thing would happen on this one with the regular fleece. We would take the paper off. I can pull it off, get it started. Pull the paper off. Stick one side down to my fabric, whichever one I'm going to use. I want to use this one because it's a little bit wider. So you can start to see how you can use whatever you have, and it doesn't even have to be whatever size you have available. You're going to press this on, fuse it all together. So I'm getting that fusible onto my fabric. So you're following how to do this, right? Then I'd have to peel off this side, press that on. Okay, now the fun begins. You can trace some shapes on here and then cut it out. You can cut squares, circles, triangles, whatever you want to do. But I'm gonna do the cheater method of a heart. So I'm just folding it in half because, you know, why not? And we're just gonna cut a heart. Anybody remember doing this in elementary school? And I like it sometimes when they're not all exactly the same shape. Ta-da! So there's a heart. Now I'm not done yet because I still got more I can use here. So I'm gonna come back in here, see what I got left, and cut some different sizes of the hearts. I can cut, so there's another one. Let's cut another little small guy. there's another one. So they're all a little bit different. This one I'm not really happy with. I think her curve is a little too big on this one, so I'm going to come back in and make it just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So now I have these different hearts that I can use. So what to do with these hearts? Well, lots of fun things that you could do. Get my mess moved out of the way here. It could be great to stick in a little, just put a little tie on, stick it in a card, or drop it in the mail for a greeting for somebody. Again, remember, it doesn't have to be a heart, but right now, since it's almost February, we're talking about getting ready for Valentine's Day. You could put a little scent on it if you wanted, some essential oils, drop it in the mail to a friend. You could use it in your car and hang it up, but we would like to make garland out of it. So on this one, here's the fun part. I'm going to go back to this one. I cut a heart out of the heart so I can create some different textures too. So let's go back and cut a heart out of this one. So now I could string them together. Let's see if I do this, Heidi, so it's not the green mat there. I could start layering my different sizes and shapes, and I could put some string on top of them or create a pattern. So create a garland with it. I happened to just find this last night with some red and white on it where you could put them on there. Now, you have choices. You could use jute, you could stitch, zigzag it onto your fabric, you could tie it and sew it on and sew them all together. Lots of different choices. Something different we're doing though, we are going to make it for our window. So we want them hanging vertically, okay? And I'm going to cheat even more because I don't want to take the time. Sorry. I don't want to take the time to find a sewing machine and sew. I don't know why we think around here we can sew anything. We're too busy with other stuff. So for this particular string, because it unravels, I'm tying a knot in it, and I'm going to come back here and pick out 3 different ones that I like. And why 3? I don't know, because that's just what I decided I was going to do. Okay, let's do it like that. And then I am simply using hot glue, and I'm going to put a dot and stick my knot in each of the hot glue dots. The same thing on this one. Don't glue yourself. Dot. So can you see that this would be a quick project to use up some of your scraps, or maybe a different way you could use it? I know some people have like a Christmas tree or evergreen tree that they might decorate for Valentine's Day. I do think it'd be really cute to make garland at Christmas with stars too. And then I'm going to make one more because we're going to tie this up over our string in our window. So I needed a little bit longer one. So you see what I'm saying here, that you could take the time to stitch it. You could also add some embellishments to one side of the heart if you wanted. Tie a little bow, sequins, bedazzles, you know, any of those sorts of things. So here is the hanging garland that we're creating. And I have a couple of them done. And let me pull them up here and get them held a little shorter. I didn't want them all the same because, you know, when you're hanging in a window, you want them to be a little bit different. So isn't that fun? Super cute. Would be great in a classroom or your window at home, or even work if you're in an office. Oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless. Maybe string some little white lights with them. All sorts of things. Oh, I just had another idea. How about shamrocks? See? Come here we're a one-stop shop for all of your ideas. We hope that you enjoy our Take Home Tuesday episodes, that they give you ideas, inspiration, or even just make you smile and choose happy. So until next week, let us know if you do any of these projects. Send us a picture. Even shoot us an idea if you have one. Inspire other people with your own Take Home Tuesday ideas. Until next week, have fun, choose happy, and be creative.